group of geeks.
Hello, I'm Chris Simpson, lead programmer on Project Zomboid with the Indie Stone. The game's basically born out of those post-pub conversations you tend to have with your friends if you're a zombie fan, which is if there was actually a zombie apocalypse happening right now, what would we do, where would we go, how would we survive? And I think it's a conversation that we've had many times, and we wanted to do a proper simulation that actually answer that question so people could actually see how they would fare in a zombie apocalypse. So it's not a PvP style. Yeah, the game was born out of the question, how would you survive in a zombie apocalypse? A lot of us have asked that question after going to the pub, and you're all chatting around and planning exactly how you'd survive, where you'd go in your local neighbourhoods. And that we wanted to make a game that was more of a simulation that actually give you all the options to actually, well, maybe either see how long you can survive, but more probably basically show people that they would probably be dead within the first week. And so basically that's where the idea for the game came from. So.
Hi, my name is Evan White. I go with Sir Twiggy on Twitch TV, and I'm a huge fan of Project Zomboid. Project Zomboid is a zombie survival RPG kind of sandbox deal, and the whole point of the game is how long can you survive. So you sort of start out in a very barren world with just filled with zombies. You have a very limited amount of time, say a week or two in game before power gets cut, and then you have to really start worrying about how am I going to survive through these circumstances. So some people try to mitigate that by going out into the woods, building campfires, making your own camp kits, foraging for berries, fishing, trapping squirrels and things. But you can also play it any really way you want. You could be more focused on living in the cities, barricading an apartment building, going up 3 stories high, and sort of locking yourself in, making your own sheet ropes to go up and down so that you can get in and out without any zombies being able to access you, because you can climb up and down, but they can't. So it's really all about how can you survive and what is your best method to sort of make that work for you. My probably favorite thing about the game is that you can play it different pretty much every time. I've done runs where I'm an engineer and I spend time making pipe bombs, Molotov cocktails, doing all kinds of different combative stuff. And then I've done other runs where I'm entirely based out in nature, sneaking around and foraging. And one of my favorite things recently is getting into the multiplayer aspect, balancing with the group who's going to be the guy who's doing all the farming for you, who's going to be the guy who does the construction and keeps you safe, who's going to be the one who goes out and forages for animals, berries, and gets water to purify for the group. Yep, there's a multiplayer element to it, so if you like to just play in the comfort of your home with, say, a couple of friends, you can do 2 or 4 people on one screen. If you prefer to play online, you can set up a server. I think the most people I've ever played with was around 20 or 22 people in different groups spread around the entire map, which is actually a fairly large real-world area that's been mapped out, lovingly handcrafted tile by tile. I know there's a lot of fun to be had in procedural generation and randomization, but there's also a lot of love that you see in a handcrafted map like this. So you can actually go on Google Maps, look at Meldra, Kentucky, and you can see that the roads run the same way. Where there are industrial areas, there's more industrial areas. Where you see the highways turning and curving to go to the next city up, that's there as well. The mega mall that's a couple miles away, that's there as well. The river, the lakes, the way that the land lays out, it's really an impressive feat. I love the map. I've been playing for about 3.5 years now. So the first time I played the game was a pre-alpha tech demo. It looked entirely different. The map was entirely different. The zombies looked like aliens at that point, which was kind of something we look back at now and laugh. But now we've come so far, insofar as before it used to be a single chunk would load it. You'd get to the end of that chunk, there'd be a load time, you load into a new area. Now the map is streaming. You're literally just running and running and running. The map is constantly loading in front of you. It's quite an impressive feat. The first time I saw it, when they moved to that new map engine, I was just completely blown away, and it reinvigorated my love for the project. Which is something else that's great about this development team, is that even though it's been alpha for 3 years, it's not that it's alpha and buggy, it's that it's alpha because they're constantly adding new things. Like the example I gave of engineering and making pipe bombs, that's something that was added in the last month. You know, we've recently been working on herbalism, so you can go out in the woods and like forage up different herbs and plants, do a mortar and pestle, grind them into different medical concoctions to make poultices and bandages so you can be a better first aid person for your group.